everyone. This is Clyde with the Riddlesbrood Touring Theater Company with another private party tip for today. Now, today what we're going to talk about is choosing the right venue for your murder mystery party. Now, you may be looking at doing your event in any one of several different locations. First of all, you may be looking at your own home. And now that might be great, especially for smaller parties. You have a lot more control on what you can do with your own home, and of course it's a lot cheaper. However, most of the events that we do tend to wind up being in a private room at a restaurant, or even more likely a banquet facility or fire hall or community clubhouse, things of that nature. So let's assume for a moment you're not going to do it in your house and you're going to do it in one of these more traditional banquet facility style locations. Well, before you definitely decide on the venue, you're going to want to make sure that there's a couple things about the room that fit your purposes for the show. And one of the biggest ones is the shape and arrangement of the room. So for instance, you want to make sure for your show that you have a nice square or rectangular shaped room. Now this is important because at your party, you're going to want to make sure that everybody has a great view of the show, everybody can hear properly, and everybody really feels like they're part of the fun. So you really want to try to avoid like strange L-shaped rooms or even large ovals where people are going to be at very far extremes. So a square and a rectangle is the best. There's also a couple other things about the room that you want to make sure. Like for instance, make sure that it has basic seating and tables that are movable. Try to avoid rooms where there's booths or tables and chairs that are hard mounted to the floor. Like for instance, something that you might see in like a fast food restaurant. You want to avoid them because a lot of times you might need to move the tables around and make sure that everybody has a great viewing angle for the show. So those are some of the big things. Now, here comes a few things that you may not be thinking of. And these are things that we've encountered over the years. Especially if you're having a day event, make sure that you pick a room that does not have glass walls, glass ceilings, or large windows that cannot be shaded. That can really be a mood killer. So if you're having a night event, that's not really probably going to be a major concern for you, but during the day, it really can make the event strange when you have bright light coming in. It just kind of kills the mood. And if you're doing one of our larger packages that include lighting, it can really kind of negate the fun effect of having more theatrical lighting and sound and things of that nature. Those are some of the big things. Now, as far as the facility itself, there's a couple other things that you want to make sure. Make sure there's enough parking. We have had some times where people pick a restaurant that might be in the middle of the city with no parking, or a place that has very little street parking. This can be a problem because especially if you have over 50 people, they're all going to get there by driving. So if they get there and they can't find a place to park and they have to pay with a meter and they have to find a street parking that's hard to find blocks away, especially if it's raining, they're going to be unhappy by the time they get in there. So we want to avoid that by making sure that they come to your event ready to have a great time. So having a place for them to park is a great first step. Another thing is restrooms. I can't tell you how many times older restaurants, they may not have a very large restroom. And if you have larger crowds, that can cause lines and problems. The next thing is, this is not as important, but steps. If you have a lot of steps that are required to get to your room, especially if you have an older audience, this can be a little bit of an obstacle to their enjoyment. If they get there and they have any mobility related issues, then climbing up several flights of steps is going to be a big problem. So those are probably your big high ticket items in the venue that you want to make sure that you pick. Of course, if you have any questions, I would be more than happy to go over all these details with you over the phone. So give me a call, 609-377-9125, or visit us online at riddlesbrood.com. We'd love to work with you. Thanks and have a great day.